basically I just wanted to do this video for several months now. I figured, well, I noticed a lot of the animals in Animal Crossing New Horizons do a lot of new different things compared to other games, in the past that they don't really do. So this video is basically just going to be me talking about villager interactions within Animal Crossing New Horizons for those who haven't played, and for those who have played that may not have, paid a whole lot of attention to, some small details here and there about what the villagers do within the game. Of course, basically I did this video in, parts. Like, I recorded one chunk after the other, so yeah, different voiceovers, but anyways, I hope you all enjoy this video. It's something different that, like I said, I wanted to do. If you follow my Facebook fan page or my Twitter, then you've probably seen that I post a lot of Animal Crossing New Horizons gameplay pictures and all of that too. Well, it's because I have over 600 plus hours currently as of this video in the game. And people probably are asking, well, is your town really all that great? Well, it's good, and of course, if you would like to visit either my Animal Crossing New Horizons town or my Animal Crossing New Leaf town, just go to my YouTube channel and find my dream address video for both of those dream address towns, whatever they're called. So yeah, anyways, like I was saying, this is just basically every character interaction within Animal Crossing New Horizons that I've seen in my game, and yeah, there's a lot of detail to what the villagers do, like I said, compared to other games in the past. So, oh, and if you've seen any video next to me, then basically it's because I didn't really get to add these videos, these shorter clips I recorded off my yellow Nintendo Switch Lite in this video, because I was going through and I was trying to find all the ones to put into the same section of this video of mine, and I missed a lot of these smaller videos. So, but anyways, let's get on to seeing what the villagers do, and then once that's all done, I'll catch you back here, and I'll put a few more videos to my side to include them in this video too. Of course, obviously without sound, because if I have them playing with sound, then you can't hear me all that great. So. So sometimes villagers will be randomly sitting outside, on your island, and yeah, it's kind of nice just to see them sitting around. They'll be either sitting on the ground, if of course you haven't put any chairs or any benches for them to sit out, side on. Then they'll be, sitting on the ground sometimes, well, in places that you can see them, but sometimes for me, villagers will be sitting behind their house or behind a tree, and then it's just like, what are you doing back there? I can't see you, I didn't even know you were there. And then you happen to be running around your town collecting fruit or whatever, randomly talking to your villagers that you have on your island, and then you end up missing that villager because you didn't know that they were sitting behind their house or behind a tree, and then, you see them later, and then you were like, wait, where were they at, Or, of course, if you're the type of person that,
likes putting decorations out on your island, then you probably have several benches, chairs, couches, stuff like that, randomly around your island like I do too, and your villagers will look at it sometimes, the chair or the bench or couch or whatever, and they will, sit down on it, and then you can talk to them while they're sitting on it, and they'll usually say that, if you want to join them and sit next to them, that, you can. I mean, of course, if it's a bench or a couch and, they have an extra spot that you can. I mean, obviously, if it's a chair, then you can't, so, like, sit next to them. And, yeah, or sometimes they'll, be on a, like, bench or something, or a chair, even in their house, and they'll be, asleep, and it's kind of interesting. Or during the winter time, like right now here in February, sometimes villagers will take out this bowl of like hot soup or whatever, and they'll be like drinking it or eating it or whatever. Also, sometimes they'll be sitting, as you saw, on the plaza with 3 seats like that, or there'll be like this bench that you can hop up on, and a villager or 2 will be sitting on it. Well, 2 villagers sitting on it, and you can't sit on it, of course. And sometimes they'll be drinking pop from it too, like they'll be sitting on a bench or a chair, or even outside, like not even on the ground, like on a chair or anything, and they'll be eating a lollipop or something like that. And it's just kind of cool to see, though, that Nintendo put these little details like that in there, so the villagers aren't just like wandering around and just like doing nothing other than just walking. Maybe occasionally stopping and smelling the flowers, or getting distracted and watering the plants or something. But these little interactions here is something that I've noticed that the villagers will do a lot in the game, so I figured I would include this here in my video, because that's what the video is basically about. Villager interactions, what they do with each other, and objects that you place out, outside, and all that stuff too. So anyways, I'm going to continue this here. So another interaction that villagers do is, well, obviously, if you played any of the Animal Crossing games, of course, they either stay in their house most of the day, or they go in and out of their house, depending on, if it's late, if it's time for them to go to bed. Because all animals in the game have a set schedule of when they go to bed and when they wake up. Of course, if the villager is sick, then they're going to spend all day in their house, of course, unless you, the player, give them medicine from the store, and then you give it to them and they take it, and then they'll be wandering around your town afterwards. But yeah, here in New Horizons, villagers also do other things in their house other than just walk around and randomly look at whatever Nintendo gave them in their house, for furniture, or for whatever you, the player, has given them for furniture and decorations or something like that. Sometimes they'll go up to an object and basically they'll touch it, and kind of like if you go into your house in the game and you have an object that you can interact with, say for example an hourglass, like Egbert, for example. He has an hourglass on his log bench in his house between his 2 couches that he normally has by default. Well, if you don't have him as an early on starter villager, if you have him when he has, his basic house like all full, like fully furnished and stuff, like I was saying, he'll have the hourglass. And for me, he went up and he basically pressed A on the hourglass. When you press A on stuff, you interact with it, and you can make the hourglass flip over from how it is to the other side. And he did that. So And also, the villagers have vacuums in their house. They'll run over to it and they'll tap on it to turn it on, and then, you know, for example, Ozzy, he has a vacuum in his house. It's an upright vacuum, I believe that's what the item name is. He basically pressed it, turned it on, and, you know, was kind of smiling, kind of being ornery about it, and then he turned it off. Of course, some villagers, like I was mentioning, they do other things too in their house, like, you know, they have a music player of some sort. They'll run up to it and they'll sing. Sometimes, you know, they'll have an object out and then they'll put it away and then they'll run up and start singing, and they'll always be happy about it. And they'll always sing whatever song, you know, they have by default in their music player. Or, you know, if they have a couch or, you know, a chair or something, they'll sit down in it. Sometimes they'll just sit there, and, you know, they do kind of move their feet a little bit when they're sitting down in a chair or something like that. Sometimes they'll also sit down and have like a can of pop, which there's two different cans of pops in the game that I've noticed. There's an orange one, and then there's like a Sprite or like a Mountain Dew can that they sometimes, you know, are carrying in their right hand. Sometimes villagers will also sit down on couches or even on the floor too, and they'll just sit on the floor, then they'll get up, or they'll sit on the floor or a couch or chair, and then they'll take out a book. And I also noticed that there's also different variations to the books that they look at. Now, there was like a one about weights, like lifting weights. There was a KK Slider one. I think there was maybe food or something. There's one about bugs too and flowers that I also noticed, which I'm going to be also talking about, that they look at. And it's interesting though, because they'll be looking at the book as if they're reading it, you know, in their house and of course outside, which I'm going to explain in a bit. Well, after this part of my video, but they'll look at the book and they'll, like, you know, they're getting ready to like turn the page, and then if you look closely, it's basically the same exact page copy pasted. And I thought that was interesting though. And and another thing that other than all that other stuff, sometimes villagers will be dusting in their house. You know, they'll have a duster out and they'll be wandering around, you know, looking at their items, and then they'll start taking it out and start dusting it. Sometimes the duster does go through their objects, like their furniture, and I think that's kind of funny. So you kind of can see a glitch there with that too. Of course, sometimes they put the duster away. And of course, they also, you know, they can have their own DIY workbenches in their house too, much like the player, unless of course you have yours outside. But sometimes villagers will have their DIY workbench in their house, either like it's already there, or it'll replace whatever item that was in that spot, and then of course that item will, you know, come back once the villager puts up their DIY workbench. And you know, the villager will be DIYing, you know, making a DIY recipe that you may or may not have. And of course, if you have it, just give it to a friend that doesn't have it, or sell it, or you know, you could just mail to a friend that may already have it as a prank. Anyways, sometimes a villager might have another villager that's in your town over at their house, and the guest villager, I guess you could call it, can also do other things. You know, they can sing, they can sit on the villager's house. Well, the villager that they're at's house is, you know, like chairs and stuff, or they can interact with whatever objects is in that villager's house that they're visiting. So that's another thing that they can do. I've never seen them sleep, you know, because you can't really visit a villager when they're asleep. well, only way you can, and by asleep I mean you can't visit them while they're sleeping in their beds. Sometimes you can go into their house and they'll be standing upright, either facing towards the door, like doorway, or the wall or something, or randomly, and you can see that they're sleeping. And they're always standing up sleeping, which is funny. Al actually is one that usually does that in his house in my game. And then of course you can talk to them once, and you know they might wake up after that, or they might actually yawn again, and they may fall back asleep. Of course, again with Al, for me, I did exactly that. I talked to him. Actually, well, I went inside his house. I didn't talk to him, and then I snuck out of his house. And then he came out. I said, "What the fuck?" I said, "How did he know that I was in his house?" You know, it was weird. So there's that too. And some other times they might have a donut, like a plain old donut with like chocolate like icing on it, which looks pretty good though. And they'll be wandering around their house, and they'll be you know, munching on it occasionally, which is funny because the donut basically never gets any smaller. It just stays the same. Like they bite into it, you could hear them like chewing it. And I think that's another interesting detail that Nintendo put in the game that, you know, villagers will do. Let's see. And so yeah, I know that's a lot of things, and it probably seems like I have nothing else to say that villagers do, but sometimes if a villager has like a vanity or a mirror in their house, and I've noticed this with like Marina and Sky too, just to name a couple of villagers there, but I've seen them go up to their, you know, their mirror or their vanity, and they look at it, you know, pretty much like when you go into Harvey's house, for example, and you spawn in your villager or like an amiibo, a villager from their amiibo card, and you know, you change their clothes in Harvey's house, and like when that menu pops up and shows you, that kind of reminds me of that when a villager looks in their mirror or their vanity in their house, like on your in your town, I guess, your island, your town, your island town, your town island, whatever you want to call it, you know. And yeah, that's a lot of like I said, a lot of things that the villagers end up doing in their houses. I know this is probably a little bit longer of a you know, a part to this video as a whole, but yeah, it's just like there's a lot of different things though that, like I said, that I've noticed. And of course, you know, if you are in a villager's house and they're, you know, by themselves, you know, you can go up and press A on their items, and they'll tell you something about it or whatnot. Like, for example, I don't know about any other villager, but it usually seems like the Lazy Mel villagers, like if they have a couch or something or a chair, and you press A on it, they say, oh, you know, this, you know, and then the item name, you know, thing, and then question mark, and then they say fits my butt perfectly, and then they kind of, you know, give like a sheepish laugh. They're like, you know, I'm just like, what? Nintendo put something like that in the game? Okay, that's kind of odd. Or they will, like for example, Egbert has this sauna heater thing in his house because his house is like a supposed to be like a spa. You press A on that, he'll basically say that he now has a cheese-free sauna heater, and if you were wondering what that smell was around your town's name, that you know, it probably smells like burnt cheese. And of course, another thing too, and it probably works with other villagers too, but if you give him a pants press in the game, and again, this basing this off of Egbert in my town, he'll basically talk about how he has no idea how to use a pants press, or Al will talk about his cherry lamp if, you have him as a starter villager, and he'll say that he's not afraid of the dark. Or, like Lolly, for example, the cat, she talks about her refrigerator, how she thinks it's difficult to use, and I'm just like, I mean, I guess. Villagers also get into other crazy stuff, like Al, for example, and again, this goes with any other lazy male villager within the game, but, he's talked about how, it was getting late, and he said that he wanted to do one fun thing last, one thing fun last, or whatever, before, going to bed, and, basically, he said that he'd play Lost Cave Explorer, and that he would, climb underneath his bed, and, turn out all the lights and stay there until sunrise because his grandpa said he had to, because that's how you play the game. Or he said that he would basically put a bucket over his head and then go run and shut off the lights and sit back in his chair and wake up on planet tomorrow to play astronaut. And I said, what the fuck? And not in a bad way saying that, but more in a, wow, I'm surprised this was in the game, but more surprised of how actually funny this was. I know a lot of people probably get annoyed at lazy villagers, and, I just kind of wanted to say, though, if you as a player don't really like a villager, I wouldn't force them to move out, I would say don't get a certain villager personality type if you're a person that doesn't like lazy villagers or snooty female villagers or cranky male villagers or jock male villagers or smug male villagers or something like that. I would say pick your own personality types. I mean, hell, it's your island after all. You can invite whoever you want. I mean, you can invite Ronald McDonald or Napoleon Dynamite or the President of the United States there, but I mean, So anyways, I'm going to continue this. Okay, so basically another thing that villagers do for interactions in the game is they will randomly start singing, now they can stand on the plaza and sing, they can sing by a river, on the beach, inside their own house if they have, of course, something that plays music, or inside a villager's, like another villager's house if they're over at some other villager's house. If that villager has, something that also plays music, the villager that's visiting will start singing, and that's cool. But of course, sometimes they do sing in their house by themselves, but if you have like a microphone on your island somewhere, your villager might walk up to it and start singing, which you'll see here in a bit. Now, I'm not going to be talking over this because, well, over the part where they're singing, because I want you to hear them sing. So this is just a little, whatever, voiceover. Also, if you do have something on your island that you are playing music with, like outside, grab it and move it to where your villagers are singing. They'll stop singing whenever they're singing, right? And they will switch to whatever song that you played. Of course, if you stop the song, then they'll basically go back to singing whatever they're singing. And I'll be showing you that here in a bit. Oh, do keep in mind, though, that throughout this video of mine, I did mention, but some of these clips are old, so they're months old, which obviously means that some villagers in them have moved out, or some of them are still in my town. If you want to know what villagers are currently in my town, then please go to my channel's About tab and find my Villager DB profile, and then just basically go to where it says current NH villagers. Okay, and finally, pretty much what villagers will do for more interactions is outside stuff. So you probably were wondering why I'm doing this bit, because then you could say, well, you already did a part where your villagers were singing. Yes, but this is like extra stuff. See, I've thought I would group like these interactions all together in like categories to make this video easier for me, so I'm not just sitting here recording one voiceover, like one long voiceover. This is multiple voiceovers. I forgot to mention that. But other times I mentioned that villagers will like sit on benches and they'll do this, they'll do that, but sometimes they'll also like play instruments if you have them out. I know I also talked about them, like I said, singing. If you have a microphone outside somewhere on your island, your villager might walk up to it, start singing, using the microphone singing too. But yeah, you have like any guitars or pianos or drums, anything that can be considered an instrument within the game, then your villager might go over to it and start playing it. Or if you're playing your instrument, heck, your villager might even come join you. I mean, I was playing my guitar that I had out there next to my in front of my town plaza, and town plaza is basically the residential building, and Al saw that I was playing it, and he came over on the other side of the guitar and started playing with me together, and I thought that was really cool. He had on his star shade, so that made him even cooler. Also, sometimes villagers might fall asleep. I think I already covered that though. On benches or chairs outside, or even on the ground or in the sand on the beach. And I noticed that, well, it's only ever happened once, but I saw my villager cat. She was my starter villager, and she was sleeping, and I went to the picture mode on my Nook phone and whistled so that my character will look directly at the camera, basically, and I took a picture, and Cat woke up and she seemed startled. And then there's a bit in this part here in my video where I was wandering around town, and my sisterly villager Cherry, that red dog, she was sleeping in my white garden bench in front of a residential services building, and she woke up, and another thing like that happened too, only to my lazy male villager Al. He's a gorilla. Not many people seem to like him, and I don't know why. I think he's a really cool villager, but he was sitting on my beach in front of his house, or well, kind of on the beach to the right side of his house, and or whatever, and I was walking by. I didn't even see him because he almost blended in, and like he woke up and he was startled, and I thought it was funny. Sometimes other male villagers will kind of freak out when you wake them up. They're like, oh, why isn't there lasagna in my pocket, or whatever. I know that happened to Egbert too. Sometimes villagers will sit down and they'll fall asleep in the most random spots, or like you'll be sitting on a bench, and sometimes they'll walk up over to the bench or to the couch outside, and they'll jump up and sit next to you, which I think is really nice. It's really cool. Of course, another thing, other than them playing with the instruments and all that, is sometimes they'll be walking around outside, and they'll smell the flowers. They'll run over to it, they'll sniff the flowers and stay there for like a few seconds. Or, you know, if you have like a sign out or anything else, they might get curious and they might wander over to the object and they might look at it. You know, if you have like a sign or like a garden gnome or something like that. Or even if you have a jukebox outside, they might wander over to it and start dancing and kind of smiling. Or, you know, they might not even be near any music and they might just start randomly dancing outside. Which is pretty cool too. Of course they do sing sometimes as well, but most times they just dance, or they start dancing and then singing, and then, or singing and then dancing, or they just dance or sing. But of course, and yet another thing that I've also seen villagers do is they will, you know, stop and they'll just kind of stand around, especially if like KK Slider is playing a Saturday night or whatever. You know, they'll kind of stand over to like the right or left of your residential building, like on the plaza part, and they'll just stand there, and then they won't move. I mean, they'll like look at you and maybe another villager. But oh, and speaking about KK Slider, I probably forgot to mention earlier on in this video, but villagers do happen to randomly walk up to his seats that he puts out, and they do sit there, and they seem like they're enjoying the music. Of course, if you go request a song or let him play a song for you, KK Slider, of course, you know, your villagers will hop down and then they'll start to do a little dance when they show that, I guess it's a cutscene or whatever you call it, when KK Slider's playing you a song. And, yeah, they'll do that and then they'll hop up back into their chair. And I was wondering if a villager would hop back into their chair that they were sitting in when, you know, KK Slider was playing, and I went and sat in their chair, not to be mean, but I was just curious to see what happened, you know, and they wandered over to another chair, and then they kept wandering, you know, into another chair that he had set out. But, of course, another thing that the villagers outside, that they will do sometimes is, you know, they'll look at their Nook phones, and, you know, they'll look down at it, they'll kind of look up, you know, see if anybody's, like, watching, and then they'll quickly put it back away. Or, you know, like, for example, I had Tammy, she's a sisterly yellow bear villager. Like, I had that 2021 arch at the entrance of my island next to my airport. I seen her go up and take out her Nook phone and take a picture of it. And also, you know, I'm pretty sure they'll take pictures of art that you have outside, or like statues. And I think it's kind of odd. And it's kind of funny too that they will they'll do that. Of course, they won't shake any trees though, and I think that's really weird because every other Animal Crossing game they have shook trees. You know, usually when the fruit is not on there. So, and I don't know, maybe the villagers will shake trees in a later update. Maybe not. Oh right, of course, another thing that villagers also do is sometimes you'll see them just running around, and they have like a big old smile on their face, or like pretending to be an airplane. They're just like running around like the plaza or somewhere else too, you know. And I think that's really interesting though. Like, you can almost have a short foot race with the villager and see who wins. And that was also kind of interesting though. Definitely not in any other games up until New Horizons though. Let's see. Sometimes they'll actually carry stuff around with them. Like I said, they'll have a donut with like this chocolate icing or frosting on it. Or they'll have, you know, 1 or 2 cans of pop. You know, they'll have, like I said, a green one, a green can of pop, or an orange one, can of pop, in their hands that they'll be randomly drinking it, you know, or sometimes they carry around like a little brown bag, probably with like food inside of it, I don't know. But, and they also sometimes carry purses, or like, you know, like handbags, or even baskets that have like fruit designs on like the cloth. There's probably nothing in it, and there's no way to obtain those, but yeah, there's something else that they seem to do, you know. I mean, of course, obviously they fish, they will bug hunt when, you know, it's the time to go catch bugs, of course. I figured there was no really need for me to explain that, since, you know, they always do that. But another thing that they do, well, actually a couple more things that they will do, is, you know, they'll, basically they'll find, like, a bug, whether it be, like, a dragonfly, a butterfly, or something like that, and, you know, they'll attempt to catch it, or, if they don't have a net out, they'll simply just, like, look at it, and they may end up actually following the bug itself, which is, I think, cool, too. Now, of course, since it's winter time, and during the winter time, you know, of course, you'll see snowflakes, and, you know, just throughout your island that's, you know, just there for you to catch, or whatever. And, of course, a villager might end up seeing the snowflake, and kind of, you know, it acts kind of like a bug in a way. The villager will sometimes chase the snowflake around too, and, you know, do that. Also, sometimes a villager, you might see them with a book out. You know, like looking up, you know, like standing in front of a tree with a book about, you know, the bugs in the tree, or the type of tree, or whatever. Or, you know, there's also a book that has flowers, like what type of flower it is. You know, they're learning about it. And, you know, I think that's really interesting, and it's neat, and it's a nice little detail, too, that Nintendo put within the game for villagers, you know, not just be boring, like I said, you know, so that way they're not just wandering around fishing or catching bugs, or at least trying to catch bugs, attempting to. They later on end up scaring the bug away. Or, yeah, and of course, something else I do want to mention, you know, if it's like a holiday, you know, villagers will be doing stuff like, for example, Festivale in, well, real time, it was the 15th of February, when Festivale was, you know, they're out there dancing, doing their thing, throwing confetti. That's something else that they'll do, and sometimes, you know, they'll actually, like, do this kind of, like, happy dance, you know, yeah, you know, it's, pretty cool. I think that's really about all the things that I've covered for villager interactions. There might be a few things that I have missed, but, anyways, I will catch you all after this, and, basically by that, it means that the video's not over, that, basically you'll see me again after this bit, and, you know, in the video. I know there's a few clips that I did miss out here and there of villagers singing and, sitting down, but, hey, I can always include them in a glitch video or something like that, you know? So anyways, I will see y'all here in a second, and then I'll wrap up the video.
Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed this video of mine. Like I said, it's something different that I wanted to do for the fun of it. Kind of like, you know, how I saw how many bells total that all of my Animal Crossing New Horizons villagers were, and all of that, and, you know, if wisp spirits, you know, possibly possess certain villagers to, you know, give them life. I did a video on that. You know, I've done other glitch videos in Animal Crossing New Horizons, a few Easter eggs, this and that. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please do subscribe. If you do, please do watch my videos. You know, don't just subscribe and then not watch my videos, because that's not cool. And of course, that does not help me out at all if you just subscribe and not watch my videos. You know, so basically, I'm just asking if you do subscribe. And even if you don't subscribe, you know, check out my videos, you know. Oh, and please do make sure you watch them all the way through, because YouTube doesn't count it as a view if you don't watch it all the way through. Of course, if you don't know where you're at within the video, there should be a little red bar thing down here that you can see, and it'll tell you how many minutes or seconds you're into my video out of the total, you know, length of this video, or my other videos, of course. So, and of course, as always, like I say, if it's a long video like this and you don't want to watch it all the way through, you know, when you first click on the video, please do come back and watch it, you know, at a later time, you know, like maybe a few several minutes after, you know, a few hours later, you know. But please do make sure that you finish my videos. You know, if you like I say, if you start the video and then you end up stopping the video and you know want to watch more and please watch the rest of it later. You know, so that way I can get the full view. Oh, and another thing, when you do subscribe, please click the bell icon. Click all notifications, and if you don't want to do that, then please go follow my social medias down below so that way you can tell when a new video is coming out. Also, if you don't want to do that, then go to my YouTube channel's section where it says videos. Basically, the upper left, basically the far top left video will always be the most recent YouTube video of mine. And plus, you can look underneath the video and it'll show you and tell you like when I've uploaded it. You know, if I just uploaded it, it'll say premiering now, you know, down there on the thumbnail, and then, you know, underneath it, it'll say, oh, you know, a day ago, a week ago, whatever. Oh, right, one more thing. Share the video. By sharing the video, this basically means that you're helping me out, and you're helping this video here out get more views and get shown to more people. The more people it gets shown to, the more views it gets. Oh, and you can also copy, paste the URL, or there should be a little share button down there next to where it says subscribe that you can also click on, and you can like copy paste that to your like clipboard on your phone, your tablet, your whatever computer, and you can go post it to your Facebook and Twitter or wherever else you post it to, and help me out that way. And yes, I still do have to say a lot of this stuff because I shouldn't, but I am, and I'm going to continue to say all that stuff so people will know that's how you can help out a small YouTuber like me. Especially if you all want to see me get the verification badge, which I would like to get, because I would like to have the plaque and say, oh, hey, look, I actually got 100,000 subscribers, you know, and heck, that would be really cool to have. You know, I'd feel real proud of myself if I was to get it. And really, in reality, I'm not that far off from 1,000 subscribers. You know, I am about 270 something. I mean, I personally don't know that many people right away. You know, I can't just go on my phone or whatever and say, yep, okay, okay. I know these people, that person. You know, I can't go do that, you know. And that's why me as a YouTuber ask you as a viewer to do all those things. To subscribe, to obviously turn on all notifications if you do subscribe, to share my video, and of course, watch all my videos all the way through, and of course, to follow my social medias, you know, so you can interact with me, so you can retweet my stuff, so you can share it, so you can like it. Oh, right. One more thing I probably should mention. Oh, if you do go to my Facebook, don't just follow it, make sure you like it, and do please be active on my social medias. I know that probably seems like a lot to ask, but really it's not. You know, it takes maybe a few seconds to maybe a minute or two or so, just to, you know, go through my stuff, see what I do, see what I upload, see what I post on my social medias. It really don't take that long, people. So, oh yeah, of course, this was all pre-edited, pre-recorded as of February 22nd, 2021. Honestly, I have not done a whole lot of videos lately because I really have not felt like it. Mainly because I feel like absolutely nobody cares. So, and yes, I'm going to leave this in there so people can hear it, because that's how I see it, and how people have shown me that people really don't care about my stuff, and that is a real fucking shame. So, but anyways, if you do care about my stuff, you know, let me know. You know, tell me. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.